Welcome to the Mystic Psychology Podcast. I am really happy that you are here in the space where your spirit meets your everyday life and your energy becomes your guide. I'm Charlotte and I'm here to walk beside you as you reconnect with your truth, your intuition, and the deeper layers of who you truly are. Welcome to the Mystic Psychology Podcast. I am Charlotte. If you're here for the first time, I'm an intuitive. I am a energy worker and I am the founder of the Mystic Psychology Academy, which supports people to work with energy and to get into their psychic capabilities and their sixth sense, intuition, and integrate it in a very grounded way for their day-to-day life, practically. And today's episode is about the voice. And it's such a big topic because there's so many women and so many participants in my courses where I notice it's always about the voice, about saying what I actually want to say, saying no to things, saying what I need, telling people what my boundaries are, what my truth is, what I'm really interested in, all these kind of things. And my participants often have such a big time problem with that. And I understand it because I was the same. I couldn't speak up my truth, and it was very difficult for me. So today we will go and dive into what is voice and why can't we express what we are wanting to say, our truth, our authentic mind, basically, what really wants to come from our essence. And I want to show you two tools in order to actually start working with voice. So, why do we have such a big time and such a hard time with actually expressing what we're trying to say or what we need or know or our truth or whatever it is? It's because we were conditioned to be in a certain way. So, I talked about that in my last podcast about the good girl syndrome and also in many podcasts before where we were conditioned as a child to be in a certain way. Now, being in a certain way means that we adapt to our surrounding, to our parents, to our culture, to our friends, to our school, to wherever we grow up. And it's very necessary, of course, because it's our survival. We want to belong. We want to be part of that group and we want to be loved and we want to survive. So it's a natural thing to actually adapt. But of course, our truth and our authentic self gets put in a box somewhere far behind. And when we grow up now, it's very difficult to start going against what our surrounding is maybe telling us. So if your surrounding always told you that, for example, energy work or being intuitive or being psychic is something that is nonsense. So many people have heard that when they grew up. For example, children, they would see maybe invisible friends, or they would see dwarves in the forest, or they would see fairies or whatever they saw, or dead people, who knows. And their parents would come and say, stop dreaming, stop seeing that. That's nonsense. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So that child starts believing that what it sees is not the truth and starts neglecting it and putting it away. The same for energy work. So maybe you grew up with the belief, oh my God, energy work is something woo-woo. It's something you can't explain. It's maybe something witchy. So you don't talk about these things. Or intuition, you don't talk about it because you have to be rational. You have to have explanations for things. They have to be scientifically proven in order to work. So all these things cause us to suppress what we actually want to say. Because, of course, imagine all your surrounding is saying you're being woo woo and you have to be scientifically proven, and then you come and tell them about energy work. So they would be reacting in a way where you might be afraid. Like they would be saying, "Oh, what nonsense are you doing? You're just pretending. This doesn't exist." So in this moment, what happens is that the person who hears that, maybe you or me in the past, that there's fear of being not loved, fear of not being understood, fear of being neglected. So we don't say what we actually want to say in order to belong, in order to stay with these people. Now, that is a problem because in that moment where we can't speak our truth, there's something in us that starts to feel very tight. It's exactly the opposite of freedom. So it's like this tightness, this heaviness. And it's like, oh, actually, I want to say this, but I don't know how. And I don't want to get in that conflict. Now, you can go back and watch The Good Girl Syndrome. So we start saying things we don't mean in order to belong, and we don't say the things that are our truth. Not always, of course. I'm just generalizing now, but in a lot of occasions. But this, of course, is also because we sometimes even don't know what our truth is because we have not learned to listen because we're so used to adapting and speaking what we learned to speak than actually to speak our truth. And all that is especially with women in the throat chakra. So why not with men? Because men were conditioned from the society in a very different way than women have. And it's about conditioning from society. So women have been conditioned in society that they have to be nice in order to be a good woman, that they have to be compassionate, that they always have to be sweet. So the good woman is sweet and nice and behaving, and she's talking in a very mannered way, while men are masculine even when expressing their anger or what they think. So that is actually what makes them masculine in society. So this is a society conditioning that women carry in their throat chakra. And men have other topics they were conditioned into, and they have exactly as many, I don't know exactly as many topics, but they have other topics than women. So women don't be like men, like we are so poor and men are so lucky. So it's not that way. They just have different topics. But women do have that conditioning in their throat chakra. And I can see that a lot in my courses because it always comes up. It always comes up about I'm not allowed to be loud. I'm not allowed to be expressing my anger. I'm not allowed to speak up. I'm not allowed to stand in for myself. I can't say no. I like all these kind of things. And if I do that, I have my period, or people would say I'm not, good enough or whatever. So this topic of the neck, throat chakra is always a topic. And what happens is that most women, and maybe it's different for you, but most women have like it feels like there's like a ball in the neck. Like something keeps from speaking up. And this is like a blockage or in the throat chakra that needs attention. And it doesn't go from one day to another, but it takes care and it takes compassion to go into that throat chakra and actually work with it. And I will show you some 2 tools how you can start working with it that might be very comfortable for you. So why is it so important that we activate again the throat chakra and that we open up and speak up and open our voice? Because our voice is our vibration. So voice and what we speak and in what truth we speak it and in what way we speak it is frequency and vibration. There's something that is called cymatics. It's cymatics, And it shows when they play music, they put sand on a table and they put the music on this table so that it takes the vibration of the music. And whatever tone this table vibrates in from the music, actually the pattern of the sand changes. So you must imagine every tone, every word we speak, everything that comes out of our mouth actually vibrates in a certain pattern. And you can check it out on YouTube when you type it in cymatics. And it's very impressive because that means that when we speak, we share vibration. And that's also when I always say energy never lies, because we hear subconsciously when somebody's not telling the truth, or we can feel the vibration of the words. We can feel the vibration of what the person actually wants to say, because language starts with thoughts. So it comes from the thoughts, what you think. And from the thought, it becomes emotion. And from that emotion, it becomes what you act, what you do, what you speak. And if that is not coherent, people can notice it in the energy. So what I've also learned, and this is really nice add on, is the magic is in the word. And we know the word abracadabra, and I've only learned that recently. But the word abracadabra actually means I create as I speak. That is what abracadabra means. And we've seen it in so many Disney movies, that word. And, as children, we say it all the time. I create as I speak. And why is that so? Because our voice creates, our words create, our thoughts, what we think creates. So what does that mean? Imagine you have the thoughts of today is going to be a good day. You wake up in the morning and you're like, yes, I can feel it. It's going to be a good day. And then you go out and you start saying hello to people. How are you? You become like in this really good vibe. And we even say you're in a good vibe. You're in a good vibration, right? Good is judgmental, but you're in a, let's say, high vibration. What is that what we mean? So people start reacting and they would be like, oh, hey, and then you go around, you're like, oh, everybody's so friendly today. Everybody is really amazing today. I always knew it's going to be a good day. But actually what happened is you created that good day. So you created through your thought, through your emotion, through what you speak, that day and that reaction. And the same, for the days that are under parentheses bad, where you wake up in the morning and you're like, ugh, I don't want to stand up. I'm just like, ugh, I'm just, yeah, don't feel it today. And then you go out and you're like, oh, yes, something's happening. You bite into the wrong food. It doesn't taste good and people are grumpy. Well, it's because you're creating it. And that is for everything in your life, actually, for everything you think. So your words and what you speak create what you receive. So how can you activate your throat chakra, your throat? Because in the beginning, it can be very difficult to actually speak what you think and to become coherent because you are afraid of being neglected. So there's one technique I really, 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 really love, because what it does is that it helps you to surpass the uncomfortable trying to say, but you don't know how to say it. And the technique is called gibberish. Gibberish actually just means it's meaningless speech, so it doesn't have any meaning. But what it does is it helps you express what you mean and what you actually think and want to say. So I'll give you an example. Step one, you just place yourself either sitting or standing somewhere where you are comfortable. Step 2, you just connect to something inside. And what I mean is just maybe you want to close your eyes, or you just want to be in a very calm state, or even not calm. It doesn't matter, but more connected to yourself, grounded in yourself. Step 3, you just start doing gibberish. And that would sound like this. It's meaningless. So you just invent that speech. So it helps you to say things you would be uncomfortable saying. And you can just do that for yourself in a room, because this will help you activate the throat chakra and actually start giving something a voice. Now, I know I'm more practiced in it, so it could be that for you, it's more silent in the beginning, or it's just a few tones in the beginning. But keep it on trying and keep on doing it, actually. The second tool I actually can invite you to activate your your throat chakra is you can give all your body parts a tone, a voice. So how you do that is step 1. You connect, you either sit down or you stand up, and you connect with, for example, your knee. And you would close your eyes, or you can have them open, and you think of your knee, and you would give it a tone. You would say, like, if my knee could talk. So that is step 2. If my knee had a voice, if it had a tone, what would it be? And I'll give you the example. I'm closing my eyes, I'm connecting to my knee, I'm even putting my hand on my knee, and now I'm giving it a tone. And it would be like this. Perfect. So step 3, you take a different body part. So you start going to your hips, to your feet, to your spine, to your stomach, to your shoulder, whatever you feel called to go to. You can even go through your whole body. For example, your feet, your legs, your hips, your upper body, your head, and just walk through for 5 minutes maybe, or 10, whatever you feel comfortable. Can even be longer, for half an hour. So this not only helps you to activate your throat chakra and to give yourself voice, but to actually see that and feel and understand that everything in your body and all parts of yourself have a different voice. And you start watching that. You start becoming the watcher of that. And you start to understand that everything has its own voice. These are the 2 things I can really, really recommend you to become more and more in touch with your voice. And then you will see that in your daily life, when you start communicating with people, that you will see a magnificent change in how you talk, how you start talking. You will become more aware of your voice the more you do these 2 practices. Okay, amazing. So there will be another episode. It's going to be the next episode about how to say no, which is a whole other topic, because it's a very, very difficult topic for a lot of people. And I want to invite you to come to my next episode and listen to that as well. If you have topics with the throat, with voice, with communication, with stepping in for yourself. And it's super important in the energy work and in the world of energy, because voice and thoughts is frequency, it's vibration. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. I see you, I hear you, and I feel you, because we are all connected. Thank you for being here, for your time, for listening, and showing up for your own personal path. If something touched you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. And make sure to subscribe and get my weekly newsletter. You can always go deeper at mystic-psychology.com or find me on Instagram. I'd really love to connect to you in person, read your comments and messages. So until next time, stay close to your soul and trust what you feel, follow your intuition, and I can't wait to connect with you again.